Most women were told that to be successful in business that we had to conform. We have to follow the rules and we have to establish ourselves as belonging to a niche, to a group, to an audience, to our community. But what I've learned in 2 decades of working with Olympians, actresses, artists, accountants, lawyers, solo entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 CEO leaders, what I've learned is for every woman that insists on following the rules, there are women out there who are serious about making change, who are serious about creating something new, not following old economical ideas. And for those women who are serious about making a change, they're also serious about making money. And that means about making money on their own terms. And that means not following the rules, daring not to belong, picking comfort over security, picking their sovereignty over their sense of belonging. If you as a woman want to make change and you want to use your passion in business to do that, you're going to have to be willing to get uncomfortable. And that means willing to feel like you don't belong, to step out of line, to step out of your comfort zone, to not conform, to not follow the rules. And for every woman that watches this video today, that's going to look different for each of you. Your idea and your sense of belonging is going to look different. But the invitation and the challenge is, do you dare to not belong in favor of making a change and building wealth on your terms? That's what today's video is about. So here's a truth that I've become really intimately aware of over my 2 decades in business. And that is, belonging is going to cost you your sovereignty, especially as women. We have been conditioned to remain in community. We have been rewarded for following the rules, for conforming, and all of that sits under the umbrella of belonging. And the minute your sense of sovereignty, your sense of individual expression becomes a cost to your sense of belonging to the group, you are about to lose everything. Your sovereignty or your sense of belonging is costing you everything already. It's costing you your power. It's costing you your voice. It's costing you your creative expression. I want you to really think about that. We have been rewarded for being the nurturers in community, right? We have been rewarded for following the rules. But if you're serious about living a life of divine providence and liberation, that means being willing to dance at the beat of your own drum, right? That means you have to be willing to buck the rules and essentially be a nonconformist. If you want to be a catalyst of change, you cannot follow old ways. And you're going to have to accept that you're going to feel like the outsider. And are you willing to be an outsider? I see it so many times where women have these amazing ideas and it's always, I can't, what will so-and-so think? But that's already been done. All these excuses, and every excuse is you denying your sovereignty. Okay, sovereignty, I want you to really think about this. Being a woman unto yourself, not sovereignty how Anthea says sovereignty is, or how sovereignty is your engagement with your erotic intelligence. And that is the way in which you animate life, how you animate your ideas, how you bring things into manifestation is your engagement with your erotic intelligence. And the way in which that is manifested is your sovereign life. That is your power and authority and creativity in this lifetime. If you're not willing to be sovereign when you're building and creating and growing your business, if belonging and being safe is far more comforting to you, is far more important to you, then you have to also accept that you're not going to create anything different. It's just a fact, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And for so many of us, we have stayed in our comfort zones. Yep, we've dipped our toe in the pool. We've maybe worn that red lipstick when we'd never wear red, or the outfit that we'd never wear. But those are all necessary ways of getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. But real change requires you as a woman to be so sovereign, so steadfast in what you know to be true for yourself, so deeply believing of what you're here to do and how you're here to lead and serve, and knowing that you don't have to give up your softness, your nurturing to be sovereign. You can step out of community, out of the crowd. You don't have to belong to still be loving and nurturing and caring. In fact, to do all of those things authentically, you have to be willing to carve out your own space. Belonging is not like being like everyone else. It's about being exactly where you want to be and still feeling completely like yourself, authentically, wholly, fully like yourself, wherever you are. So don't let your need to belong cost you your sovereignty, your power, your voice, and ultimately leaving money on the table. I really had to learn that lesson the hard way about belonging and sovereignty. And it took me a while to really understand what I was doing, because for years I was handing my sovereignty over to men, mentors, communities, business strategies, frameworks. I was handing over my sovereignty in favor of belonging, in favor of approval. There was such a long time that I spent believing that being approved of meant so much more than my sense of individuality, my sense of creativity and rightful expression. And I really learned the price of freedom when I found myself for years really doing what other people wanted me to do instead of doing what I believed in. And it took me a while to recognize that I've always been kind of dancing to the beat of my own drum. I just hadn't integrated that yet. So I want you to think about this. If you think that you're someone that is always following the rules, that is always doing things for other people's approval, where is it that you're actually already breaking the rules, but you're not seeing it because you have a story and an image of yourself? But I realized I moved across the world, I started businesses, the way I raised my children was completely non-conformist. But in my head, I was like, I'm a people person, I love to belong, I'm in community, and I need the approval of others to know that I'm doing a good job. And when I realized that actually that wasn't true, that my biggest successes and my biggest results, and when I felt most accomplished and when I felt like I really achieved some big things, is when I totally went against what everyone else expected of me. So I want you to really think about that. Where could life have looked so differently for you? Or where has or does life look so differently for you? And it's you not expecting approval. It's you not following the rules. It's you not giving a flying fuck about what anybody thinks. And how does that make you feel? Because again, our need to belong is primitive, it's primal, it's rightful, it's necessary when we are kids, when we are babies, when we are in the context of our family and we're learning how to survive. Okay? Absolutely, for me, connection is a highest value of mine. But again, connection and belonging, two separate things. I've built my entire business on my relationships that I have with my clients, my colleagues, my community, and that is through the way in which I connect. But belonging is different. There's a quote that I love, And I believe it's by, it'll come to me, but there's a quote, and essentially, oh damn, I've forgotten his name, but anyway, it's speaking to belonging to yourself before you belong to anyone else. And that is sovereignty, right? Sovereignty is about belonging to yourself first, being a woman unto herself, belonging to yourself first. And in the shadow of that is the fear of being exiled. So when I was handing my power over, when I was handing over my sovereignty to belong in a intimate partner relationship, even to my children, when I was being the type of mum I didn't even want to be for my children's approval, I was really playing in my shadow of what I like to call the exiled woman, the woman that gets ousted from the crowd and she's shamed and demonized because she wore the wrong thing, she said the wrong thing, she was too sexy and lustful and, too sexual in her expression, or too brash or loud, or you name it. That's the shadow of the exiled woman, the woman that dares to step out of line, and dare I say it, under patriarchal conditioning, right? And every woman I know that wants to build in her own and rightful way has this fear of being exiled by her friends, her family, her lovers, her community, right? Every woman I know has had to move through the shadow of the fear of people saying, I don't want you, I don't agree with you, what you're saying doesn't make sense, you don't belong here. But once you move through that fear of being exiled, you are able to fully claim fully claim yourself, fully belong to yourself, because you then know what it's like to seriously be on your own, to seriously be alone as a woman, not lonely, but alone, right? And alone is you knowing exactly who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you uphold in your values and your vision as a business owner or a business leader, an entrepreneur, a creative. You know exactly who you are. And that makes you a safe human being, right? When you know exactly who you are safe. You feel safe within yourself. Nobody can come and rattle you because you know who you are. And for so many of us, especially when we start on the entrepreneur space, we don't know who we are, right? We are following rules and regulations and strategies and frameworks and formulas. And I think all of that stuff is so necessary. But at some point, we're going to have to decide when we kind of let go of the apron strings and forge that own path. And again, even on our own path, we need people to hold our hands. Mentorship has done amazing things for me and where I've become. I would not be where I am without the mentors in my life. So it's not about not having mentors, support, other people's reflections, not at all, but it's about knowing where you are so that you can make the right decisions from a sovereign place, from a place that always serves you first, so that you can go out and serve at your highest level. And again, another lesson that I believe we as women have to traverse through our shadow to really integrate this, especially if you're a creative, especially if you have different ideas, different ways and means of expressing yourself. If you are inherently an outlier, nonconformist, and you're generous and giving and loving and in alignment, you will probably be very familiar with this third one, and that is giving yourself or allowing yourself to be siphoned energetically. And what I mean by that is not having reciprocal relationships, not just connections and relationships that are built on love and what's the word I'm looking for? Mutuality, right? Not just mutually beneficial relationships, not just your personal relationships with your friends and family, but in business, those mutually beneficial relationships, those networks, those clients, those communities, they are the foundations on how you build your wealth sovereignty, how you build and create wealth consciousness, prosperity within your economic ecosystem, right? If you want to build a sovereign economic ecosystem built on really powerful, authentic, reverent, graceful connections, you have to stop allowing yourself to you need to stop your energy being siphoned from you. You need to stop allowing people to take without any intention of returning it back to you. And this is not about doing things for the sake of getting paid or doing things expecting things to come back to you in return. This is about reciprocity. This is about rightful receivership. This is about working with, living with, relating with, engaging with people that are in rightful relationship to you and rightful relationship with your work. So many of us, right, especially if we're purpose-led, spiritual business baddies, and we're doing this to be in service, we're doing this from a place of love. When we create from our Eros, I know all of us, we're like, if I didn't have to pay my bills, I'd be doing it for free. And the fact that that is so true is why you need to get serious about who you engage with when it comes to your work, who you allow into your space, how you choose your clients, how you choose your community. How do you honor your energetic capacity? How do you honor your erotic intelligence, right? Honoring that, having boundaries and self-respect is being in alignment with your sovereignty. Knowing who you want to work with because they are in a mutual and reciprocal relationship with you, because they are in rightful receivership to themselves and your work. That is the highest self-respect and honor. That is you practicing your sovereignty. Again, a woman unto yourself. Okay, stop decreasing your prices. Stop giving your work away for free. Stop listening to people talk for hours and you're the one drained. Do not put yourself in spaces where they do not respect and honor your talent. Don't give people permission to take and extract from you by not putting boundaries down, by not knowing how to say no, by not creating the space and time for you to create and receive in the way that feels most abundant and aligned for you. So, how do you allow your energy, your creativity, your ideas, your expertise to just be taken and used and extracted? Because you haven't put boundaries down, because you don't know how to say no, right? Where are you undermining your sovereignty yet again by allowing your energy to just be taken? So those are the three distinct spaces that I believe as women, when we are kind of back and forth, money comes, money goes, people come, people go, we come, we go, where we've got this kind of extreme relationship to our business, I often find is because we are navigating those three areas. And they're very complex areas, but once we really understand what that looks like in business, we start to live in our nature. We start to become embodied in what we are as sovereign beings, as creatives, as leaders, as catalysts for change. When we are engaging in our sovereignty as women, we are inherent catalysts for change. We are inherently living in alignment with the truth of our Eros, of our erotic nature. So I believe that there are three distinct ways that we essentially give up our sovereignty as women in business for our sense of belonging, for our sense of feeling safe. And the first way is by outsourcing your authority. Okay, where are you giving away your power, your authority in favor of feeling safe? So, handing over your opinions, your decision making, your ideas, your creativity, handing it over, stifling it, not making decisions to other authority figures, right? Dad, mum, lover, mentor, people in your Facebook community page, something that you've read. Like, where are you putting the authority, putting outside authority into your decision making, into your desires, right? When you hand over your authority, you're diluting your capacity to engage with your erotic intelligence. You are essentially, you've got this like limitless flow of energy, and the minute you hand over your authority, right, you can ask for support without handing over your authority. So the minute you hand over authority, which is like, oh my god, this is too much, I can't do it, this is too hard for me to think about, I'm not ready to make this decision yet, or I don't know enough to make this decision yet, let me ask so and so, let me do some more training, let me ask dad's opinion, let me see what mum's gonna say. The minute you make choices or start thinking like that, you are handing over your rightful authority. And that dilutes your sense of creativity and your sense of inherent and sovereign power, right? Because what that means is we're communicating to ourselves that we're helpless, that we can't do it on our own, that we need other people to tell us what to do and how to do it, when that is absolutely not true. So, where are you outsourcing your own authority? And I love the word authority, right? Because it comes from the word author, right? And to be an author is to write your own story, right? To write stories, to write your own stories. So if you're an authority in your own right, of your own proprietary information, your own programs that you've created, your own product or service that you're sharing in your own unique way, you are the author. Nobody can tell you anything about what you choose to make manifest and how you choose to lead and serve. You are the author. You are the authority. No one can tell you that your story is wrong if you're writing it. And that gives you such beautiful control and capacity over what you bring into the world. So where are you outsourcing your authority that is undermining your power and your sovereignty in how you do business? Second, diluting your truth. I want you to really, really think about that, right? And this was something that came. This is a lesson I'm learning over and over again as a woman in business, especially as a Black woman in business, of me being very mindful and self-censoring about what I say, to be likable, to not come across as aggressive, to be palatable, to not be judged as seen as an angry Black woman, or to not be seen as needing or wanting love or support or anything. Like, I really, really stifled the way in which I expressed myself through my words and my language and my voice for fear of repercussions and being reprimanded and criticized and judged. And again, another aspect of our shadow as women, again, the exiled woman, this fear of being told to shut the fuck up. Because we're not saying what other people want to hear. And again, what I know for certain, for women that are creating change, that are living deliberately, that are wanting to be of service in a rightful way that serves them, is that We say shit that people don't want to hear. It's just what it is, right? We have opinions and ideas and thoughts that are a bit out there, that are a bit different. Of course you do. And of course people don't necessarily want to hear it to begin with. It's just the way it is. And you have to be willing to ruffle a few feathers. You have to be okay with the fact that you telling the truth about what you think, how you feel, what you're bringing into the world through your business endeavors and ventures and ideas and programs and all the things. You have to be willing to have people be like, I don't believe you. That's not true. That's rubbish. Whatever the thing is, you have to be willing to back yourself every single time, right? The minute you deny your truth, you are undermining your power, you are undermining your sovereignty, a woman unto herself. If you're willing to speak your truth, you are in living engagement with your erotic intelligence, being a woman unto herself. You don't have to worry about what people say about you. You don't have to worry about what people think about you. So what if they think you're full of shit and you don't know what you're talking about? So what? Are you in alignment with who you are, what you're here to do? Are you in deep connection to grace and love? And no one's going to steer you otherwise. Let them talk, but don't let them shut you up. So, don't dilute your truth. Think about it. Where are you diluting your truth in favor of belonging and therefore undermining your sense of sovereignty? Our sovereignty gives us a direct line to Christ consciousness, or whatever that word might mean for you, your higher self. But our sovereignty gives us a clear path to tapping into of the vast well of opportunity that is available to us. So here is an exercise that I want you to do with me. Okay, I want you to just get comfortable. And I want you to take a deep breath, and with your left hand, I just want you to place it on your chest or your throat. So this is the center of your voice, your throat chakra. So deep breath, placing your left hand, which is your receiving hand, on your throat. And as you exhale, I want you to say out loud, and I want you to feel into, my voice is my power. And exhale. So I want you to really feel that, right? For women, our voice is our masculine aspect. We're out there and we're penetrating the field, right? So when we speak, we put our tongue out. This is our penetrative aspect. Our voice is out there, penetrating ears. We are penetrating people with our ideas, our wants, our needs, and we have to be willing to be uncomfortable in that, right? So understanding that your voice is your power, your body is your power. So I want you to really, really feel that. The way you think is your power, right? I want you to take another deep breath and feeling into what you need to claim right now as sovereign and powerful. What do you think that has been taken from you in one way or another that you need to call back as sovereign, right? So I love to start with the voice, but you think of what you need to call back right now, what you feel needs to be reclaimed. What do you feel has been, dare I say it, colonized, right? What has the patriarchy taken over from you as a woman so that you felt safe and protected and provided for? But what do you want to take back? So deep breath, my loves. I want you to take a deep breath, really feeling into your body. And again, I want you to take a deep breath out. And again, feeling my sovereignty is not for sale. I do not need to belong to live in divine providence and liberation. Okay? That being out of alignment with my authentic self, being out of alignment with the woman I know myself to be is selling myself short and selling out. So deep breath one more time, hand on chest, hand on belly, and exhaling, my sovereignty is not for sale. And you can practice that any time you want. I want you to really give yourself permission to step into this new energy, step into this new frequency. I have dropped some major love bombs on you in this video. I hope that you have found it moving and challenging and a catalyst to how you move forward in your business and how you show up as a woman leader in the business space and in your industry. I want you to really think about, what are you going to take away from today and apply in your life as a woman? How are you going to express that you are a woman unto yourself? And I would love for you to join the Bad Bitch Economy. I would really, really love it. So there's the link down below that tells you all about the Bad Bitch Economy. And maybe you're not ready to join a community yet, but I would love for you to comment what you are taking away, how you are expressing your sovereignty. I deeply believe that when we as women are in deep devotional, reverent grace of our body, our voice, our ideas, our capacity, we are here to create, we are here to be in devotion, we are here to be in community. But we are not here to belong to people, places, ideas that cost us our sovereignty. Okay, I'll see you next week, lovers. Thank you for playing along.